GRUDEN'S QB Camp with Hall of Famer Brett Favre.
I've had 50 quarterbacks come through. I never had a Hall of Famer.
It's only Brett can do.
The one thing you could always do.
Still on his feet.
You could throw a rock, man.
I could. You know, I made a living off that. Move around, make something happen with my arm.
Look at the zip.
Ever been an arm like this?
Perfect pass.
You're a gunslinger.
I was. I knew at an early age I had something that other guys did.
Incredible.
I may not let anybody know this, but my first thought was home run on every play.
Goes for the whole thing. Touchdown. Deep down the field. It is pulled in. The Packers win in overtime. A monumental milestone in a legendary career. Favre has passed Dan Marino.
I felt like I can make throws that other guys can't.
Brett Favre right on the money.
I wanted people to watch me play, as I thought I could do something that was worth watching.
This is unbelievable.
Atlanta has selected Brett Favre, quarterback, Southern Mississippi.
So Atlanta gets a favor by selecting Brett Favre.
Jerry had his favorites. I wasn't one of them. The first thing he says to me is, hey, Mississippi, what school are you from? And I said, I'm from Southern Miss. And he says, dang, we drafted the wrong guy. We wanted a guy from Mississippi State.
That's the first thing he
That's
said?
the first thing he said to me. So I'm thinking to myself, this is not getting off the way I'd hoped. And it was downhill from there. Best thing about my Falcon career is it got me to Green Bay.
I'm the one that picked you up.
You and I tell you, we go back longer than anyone.
Yeah.
Because the first day.
I picked you up at the airport.
And you and I, you would pull out tape for me. I mean, you were always a tape rat. I mean, you would soak it up. And you were coaching receivers. And you're right. You picked me up. You would, hey, here's some tape.
I want you to just take a look at this throw. You can see it's August 3rd. It's 1992. Everybody has this tape, Favre. You'd come down here to one-on-one, and look at this drop. I mean, you take a 5-step one-hitch delivery, and look at the follow-through. I mean, you look like Nolan Ryan. I mean, boom! I mean, this is not West Coast offense.
No.
This is...
I should have probably taken a little off of it.
But, I mean, look at that. So Homer would start yelling at me, hey, put all the drops on a reel. This is my friend Jamie Holland out of Ohio State. He's trying to make the team. He's running a speed move on a dig. Look at the follow through. It's like the 9th inning, man.
Yeah.
Watch this ball. Look at Robert Brooks, my rookie split end down here out of South Carolina. You broke 2 of his fingers on his dig route. I mean, look at you throwing, man. I mean, these are not normal West Coast dig routes here.
No.
But look at the throw. I mean, my guy's getting his head out of the break, and this ball's coming in there like Goose Gossage or something, man. Remember Bill Schrader?
I do.
I mean, Bill, we had to pull the laces out of his chest between practices. Were you? Has there ever been an arm like this? I mean, I coached Jeff George. He was a #1 pick. I had Randall Cunningham, but these balls, doink. I mean,
They got on you quick. I'd admit that. Yeah.
What?
But honestly, my philosophy kind of back then was, and this is crazy, but I was thinking, I got to do something that people go, wow. And if I just touch it on in there, anybody can do that.
That was your thinking?
That was my thinking.
So you weren't trying to get me fired every time you came
I wasn't trying to get, I wanted to, and I tell people this all the time. When I went out to practice, I wanted to wow people every time.
Mm-hmm.
And right or wrong, that's what I was trying to do. As far back as I can remember, when I went out to practice, every throw that I made, I wanted it to be the best throw you've ever seen. I never took that for granted.
Well, the arm strength earlier in your career, while you were learning this system, you knew you had a couple things. You had an arm strength that was unlike anybody else's,
right,
and you had football instincts.
Yeah,
and
it got me by.
Mikowski appears hurt.
I think that might be it for him today. And in comes
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre will be the next quarterback.
Favre throws down the middle and has a touchdown. Outstanding drive by Brett Favre. The Packers get it back trailing by 6.
Favre has his work cut out for him today.
I'll be honest with you. I thought, this is perfect. This is perfect. And you know, it's funny, I played 20 years, the latter part of my career, and like when I went to Minnesota, I was in a similar situation against San Francisco, first home game in Minnesota, but I'm a lot older. And I remember running out on the field going, oh, we're here. I'm like, great situation. Couldn't ask for a better situation. So, you know, see how much you change over the years. I thought, what's the big deal? There's a lot to be said for that way of thinking rather than the other, seeing it as a coach. You know, you know what you're up against. I didn't care.
Now, I got 100 years of this cut up, and normally the quarterbacks throw it right there and get the drill started. But not Brett Favre. He's going to throw it between the corner and the safety into cover 2. And you're throwing that javelin Goose Gossett ball that you threw on the practice field. Watch his arm strength. Watch it. It breaks Sterling Sharp's ribs, I think. He goes down.
I think he's out now.
He's out. He can't finish a game. 19 seconds left. Sorry for the blurry tape, but it is 1992. We called the same play.
And they played the same coverage.
And you threw it to the same place.
The most accurate throw on the day by Brett Favre. If you get any air into the ball, the safety comes over and breaks the play out. And he knew that he pulled the trigger on that one.
You froze this on the rope, didn't you?
I did.
Huh?
I did.
Kendrick Taylor. Remember this?
I knew when I looked at that safety. You know, I was thinking in my mind, he hadn't seen an arm like this. A safety's probably thinking they won't even attempt this throw. And Ty Detmer is funny because, like in meetings the next week, he's like, "Why would you make that throw?" And I said, "Because I can."
So he said.
Well,
Thank
he
God
was
you
like,
did.
I said, "You wouldn't?" He goes, "No, I know my limitations." Maybe there were times I probably should have known my limitations, but I felt like there was nothing I couldn't get in there.
You're playing for your dad. You're running a wishbone.
Dad, let's throw the ball. I knew at an early age I had something that other guys didn't. I knew I could throw. My whole career I played a lot like I did in high school. I made a living on plays like this, drawing them up in the dirt. That was a center who actually caught that ball, by the way.
While we're talking about arm strength in your early years, just instincts, Brett. Just instincts of playing football, playing quarterback. West right, F left, fake 93, QB keep right. Hit Jamur in the flat. Or if you get out clean, throw it to Keith on the corner. Right? Simple play, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just come out. Beautiful thing. Beautiful. Beautiful, Brett. Next week, though, we run the same play against the Rams. Same formation. It's West right. It's F left. It's fake 93, keep right. I mean, throw it away. Throw it away. Kick the field goal. Or reverse your field, switch hands with the ball, make 4 guys miss, and to your left, throw a ball into a crowd for 6. But the instincts that you play with, I don't know if it's instincts or guts or courage or gunslinging. What is it about?
I think part of it is instincts. You know, we go back to the first tape that you put up, high school. We didn't have a design play really. It was that. I mean, that's not designed. Mm-hmm. You know, that play should have been over long before. And yeah, did it get me in trouble sometimes? You know, but most times it ended up like that. Mm-hmm. You know, or I wouldn't have played 20 years. And I think part of it is instincts. I think part of it is this determination that, yeah, it can get you in trouble, but that nothing's going to stop me.
But when you're sitting in the chair and we're installing the game plan, how does Brett Favre see the game? I mean, there's a million plays, and there's progressions. There's concepts like Fox 2 XY hook. I want to know how you sit in your chair and saw the game. I coached Fox 2 XY hook for 17 years. I have cut-ups of Andy Reid, Holmgren, all these coaches running Fox 2 XY hook. The ball is designed to get to the tight end.
Correct.
I mean, I want to fake it in there and hit the tight end on a quick hook. And if he's not open, let's throw it to the X on the backside. And then if you need a check down, we'll have the halfback and the fullback separation underneath will be nice for a check down, and that's an alert over there. You see that?
And that made perfect sense to me, John. I understood it, and you know what? Of course, I hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of yards in production on that play, and I hit everybody. But my first thought was, on any play with my arm strength, I may not let anybody know this, but my first thought was home run.
On every play?
On every play, if it's built in, because I felt like I can make throws that other guys can't. So I'm going to look at that first.
This is absolutely where Brett Favre is at his best. Favre steps up, Shakura. And the Green Bay Packers will spend their final timeout. They need a win to stay alive.
Brett, I'm standing on the sidelines. This is the situation we're going up against the Atlanta Falcons, who let you go. I know you want to kick their ass.
Yeah.
Mike is standing there. I'm standing next to him. He says, we win this game. We win the division. We win the playoffs.
We go to playoffs.
And we all get $8,500. I'm buying a new screened-in porch on my house. I got to have this game. I don't know about you. I got to have the $8,500. He says south, right, 72 zebra shallow cross. This is what he said. He says, Brett, throw the post to Robert Brooks. If he's not open, throw it away. We'll kick the field goal. We'll go to overtime. Do not scramble. Don't scramble. He didn't say it 4 times. He said it 5 times. You're running out to the huddle. He says, do not scramble. And you're like, got it. We got no timeouts left.
Right.
We're going to kick the field goal. Throw the post to Brooks down here at the bottom of the screen. Don't do what?
Throw it away.
Yeah. Or don't do what, though? Don't what,
run.
Brett?
Don't run.
Favre to throw. Brett Favre. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Tell me about why you did this. What the hell's going on here?
I don't know.
What? It's $8,500, Favre. God bless you, brother.
I think, and again, it's been a long time, but my intentions were to move around. Maybe something, I made a living off that. Before and definitely after. Move around, make something happen with my arm. And I saw an opening that I felt like I could get in. And
Look at you. I mean,
I'm thinking, good thing I got in.
Coming up.
And Favre throws, and that is caught by Wesley Walls. Holy moly. Well, boy. Is something.
he led by example. He led by making plays at critical times. And he just was the toughest guy, physically and mentally. You had to respect him.
Boy, was he drilled.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer.
I just don't know how many of these hits Favre has taken this year.
Through the mental turmoil, through the physical turmoil, the ankle spitting up blood, he still played at a high level. And that's a credit to him because he took a lot of punishment. All those things we looked at, the yards, the touchdowns, the wins, 297 straight regular season starts.
By far the thing I'm most proud of, because
yeah,
that's hard to do, obviously. But along with that, you have to play at a level. Playing hurt, no one's going to say he's playing hurt, we'll let him play. You got to play well.
Yeah.
So on top of being injured, you got to play at a level. Just because you're playing hurt, don't give you an excuse. Mm-hmm. The coach, they get their ass fired over that. Mm-hmm. So I'm as proud of the fact that I endured through all that, but I also played at a good enough level consistently. That's hard to do healthy.
When you got the bad ankle, you're spitting up the blood, you're not feeling good. Tell me about the mental toughness, too. I mean, a lot of guys would crumble.
Yeah, I always tell people mentally, your mental toughness is probably way more important than the physical toughness. There has to come a point where, there is a point where we all say, that's it, I've had enough. I can't run another sprint. I can't lift another weight. I can't jog another step. I can't study any longer. Whatever that is, there's that. And then what do you do at that point? Nothing you can say will make me change. It's got to come deep within. And the tougher the situation, the more I felt like I was ready for the challenge.
You got to be the most physical, tough guy that's walking around the face of the earth.
Or the dumbest, or both.
What is it about you?
For more than anything, I love to play. And I always remembered how I got my job. The guy in front of me got hurt. And he never saw, and he probably thought, in a couple of weeks, I'll be back. And he never got back on the field. I was never going to give someone that opportunity to take my spot. If I was going to play at all costs. But first of all, because I love to play. It really was what I loved to do. Ooh, that was a bad one. Randall. Nice guy.
His ankle is going to limit his mobility. Here comes the blitz. It's picked up. And is Brooks. And Brooks is going to score. He's bouncing around in there. He's stepping the way he has to. He's been moving in the pocket fine.
I remember you had a bad ankle. You weren't going to play. And
right.
You came out on this game against the Bears. You threw 5 touchdown passes, and you really couldn't even walk. I remember watching you in pregame warm-up. I wasn't sure you could play.
I wanted to play and win because I felt like that more than anything sets you apart. Anybody can do it when it's easy. That's the way I felt.
That's right, man.
Again, I didn't want to get hurt, but I said, you know what? Now is when we find out what I'm really made of, and I feel like I'm up for the challenge.
Head in the chest, pounds him into the turf.
Favre in trouble.
Favre is going to return to the game here. You can't keep this guy out.
He rolls right. He throws in zone touchdown.
I remember Kevin Green. He hit you. Kevin Green's going to be standing there with you, getting the gold jacket. He knocked you out, man. And there's blood coming out of your mouth.
That was a good one.
I mean, he hits you harder than you can be hit.
He knew it.
He knew it. He buried you.
Yeah.
And you're laying there, and there's blood coming out of your face. And I swear, it's week 16. We got to have the win. And you come off the mat and throw a couple touchdown passes, hit Chamur, I think, on the next play.
That was a big win for us. You're right. They were tough.
You're one of those guys, like if you got in the ring and it's a 15-round fight, you're going 15 rounds, aren't you? No matter what.
I was going, there was no way I was giving in. No way. No way. And maybe there were times maybe I should have. But then the end result, the reward is so much greater when you stick it out, as hard as it may be.
But everybody wanted to knock you out of the game. I mean, that's how the game was played.
Over time, as time passed, we got to get Favre out. The more they hit me, did they hurt? Of course they hurt. But it was a challenge for me I wanted those guys to know you had to bring more than that. Even though I was thinking, well, I hope they don't bring any more.
The most difficult start of Brett Favre's illustrious career. Yesterday afternoon, Brett Favre's father, Irv, died. He has chosen to play.
There's no roadmap for him.
And Favre throws, and that is caught by Wesley Walls for a touchdown. Favre was 6 for 6 and a touchdown to Jamal Walker.
Holy moly.
Oh, boy.
That is something.
The night you played in Oakland when you lost your dad, how'd you do that? How could you not only perform like this, but just the weight that was on your heart and knowing that your team needed you? How did you do this, Brett?
It was a simple decision for me. My dad was obviously tough and loved football, loved to watch me play. There was no doubt whatsoever that I needed to play in that game. I mean, he would have kicked me right in the you-know-what if I wouldn't have. So the pressure was to play at a level that was never seen by me before, which is what I was hoping for. I wanted to honor him like no other. I remember warming up with Doug Peterson before the game, and I'm skipping it on the ground. I'm throwing it over his head. I could not throw the ball accurately, let alone I couldn't remember what plays. And I'd forgotten until I saw the first part of this clip. I'm playing with a broken thumb on my throwing hand. So, you know, I mean, it was tough. And I just remember thinking to myself, playing's not the problem. If I play like crap, I know what people say. Well, given the circumstances, I wanted to play at a level that was awesome, not seen. So I could not have asked for a better game. There were some throws I made in here. The pass to Wesley Walls, the first touchdown, is probably a top 2 or 3 throw that I've ever made. Because, you know, I knew exactly where I needed to put this, and when you watch this throw, rolling to my left, backing up.
That's awesome, man.
And I make another throw the next.
It's like it came right out of heaven.
I mean, it had to drop in like a butterfly with sore feet. It had to drop in like that.
Like a what?
A butterfly with sore feet. It had to come in just as gingerly. And this throw here, I mean, there was a lot of juice on that one. But there was also a couple throws that there's no way, like this one, we should have touched that ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a hope and a prayer if there ever was one. But yet the end result was we get it. So, you know, it was a collection of everything in this game.
Well, wouldn't it be fair for me to say I could have another 150 quarterbacks come through here? I might not ever find a guy with the combination of mental toughness and physical toughness of a Favre. Isn't that what, at the end of the day, 297 straight starts?
Yeah, I'd like to think so, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the things that I've accomplished. Are there more polished quarterbacks? Absolutely. Are there, you know, if I was starting a team, who would I start it with? If I wanted someone who just is bound and determined to win at no cost, yeah, I start with me. I do one of these, and he would jump. I thought, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Just stand back, watch it. I'll run through the wall. Yeah, there was no way I was giving in. No way.
Much more to come on Gruden's QB Camp with Brett Favre.
I think it's a persona that he has. He likes to come across in a self-deprecating, hey, I'm just a simple guy from a simple place. But he's got a photographic memory. He can remember plays, formations. He does a lot of sophisticated things. And, man, did he do them well.
Red right, 22 dancers, east stutter go. That's east right slot, F right. 200 jet, that's green right, Fox 2X1 hook. Just trips left, 300 jet.
Call this formation.
That's east left slot, F left, 300 jet. Red right, 22 Texas, and red. We can do it this way.
Okay.
This way. Perfect. Tight end's got a hook. Brown right, A right, 2 jet flanker. Look at that hole. Solo right, past 66T, Z post against Chicago. And if I had a new guy in there, I would do that. That was a signal.
Fox 2 XY hook, that was a signal for a Fox. Like a beautiful, beautiful woman. We have a lot of signals we won't get into. Dance.
Z stutter go.
Z stutter go. What about this?
Red right, nasty, C left.
What?
Never forget. Solo right, 200 jet, sluggo. It's going to work. Just trust me. Red left switch, tight close, Z right, sprint right G, U corner, halfback flat.
Love that. 93 a week. Just hand the ball off like you normally would. Well, then later in your career, what were you doing? I mean, you'd hand the ball off to Mon Green, and you'd be faking passes. You'd jump passes.
Yeah.
What the hell were you doing?
Well, initially, it was a boredom in practice. After about 12, 15 years, I'd go, just to hand off was like this. It was like getting your teeth pulled. It was like, oh. So I was like, I would always try to, I said, I'm going to see if I can get Gabir Bajabiamila to jump. So, I'd do one of these, and he would jump. And I thought, that's pretty cool. Let me see if I can get the other guy to jump. So I'd hand off and I'd do this, and yeah, I would do like that. And I said, okay.
We're calling a running play. This is I write 93 week. Hand him the ball.
Correct.
And we're tagging it with Z now. He's going to run a bullet slant. This is a running play.
Yeah, this wasn't, we never tagged this. This was,
yeah, just tell me how you started doing this, man.
I started seeing in practice, I'm like, without changing the play, and it took some time to kind of, you start seeing things a little differently. I'd get up there, you know, and it's a run play, and I got nothing to think about. Just hand it off. Not only was I kind of bored with the handoffs and all that, I was trying to be creative and spice it up. But I thought to myself, damn, that guy's wide open. Now, if I changed it to a hitch or something, maybe it works, but maybe this guy comes up. Maybe this guy now all of a sudden, now the play's not as good. So why not just do nothing? So in practice, I was like, hey, if the run's away from you, and just no matter what, just run a little one-step slant. We called it a look.
So would you look at that guy? I mean,
I'd kind of walk up, you know, I'd do one of these, and I'd say, I got it. So I'd say, I'm throwing it. And I wouldn't look no more.
You were trusting.
I wouldn't be like, I'd do that if I wasn't going there. But so I started in practice. I said, Coach, Mike Sherman, it had to work. So I wasn't going to say, Mike, I'm going to do this in the game. I said to myself, I'm going to do it and show him that it works before I ask. Because if you ask permission, all these old coaches, they're like, oh, we're going to do it the way it's supposed to be done. And I knew that. So in practice, I would tell our guys, if you're opposite the run, you run a one-step. And if I had a new guy in there, I would do that. That was a signal. So I'd just walk up. I'd do that. And if to say the corner was inside, I would just do this, just to smoke. So and Donald Driver was impossible to tackle.
Let me ask you this. I'm watching this Seattle game. You make the black over call to hand the ball to Amon Green to your left. And there's 27. I think that's Babineau. He's just playing strong safety. And you pick this thing up in Seattle and throw it right over his head. And Driver makes the safety. This is a running play, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a running play. I remember that play. On the sideline, I saw Babineau. We ran this formation over and over and over again. And I wouldn't do it at first. So when I would hand off, I kept watching him. And I knew, and if you look closely, I look out here and throw in there. So I kind of do this.
On a running play.
On a running play.
I mean, this is a 61-yard touchdown pass. This is one of your 508. I don't know. Look at you.
But we on the sideline, I kept telling Donald, I said, Donald, just keep running the little slant. And after a while, they'll be like, he ain't throwing that. He ain't throwing that. He ain't throwing that. And sure enough.
It's unbelievable. Are you the first guy to do this?
I don't know. I know.
Did you steal it from anybody? I know you watched.
No, I never stole it from anyone. It was from boredom.
Antonio Freeman starts in on a slant, and then he stops, and then he just turned and went.
It's a 2-minute drill right before the end of the game. You're going double wing left, Q8, and Antonio Freeman, instead of running the option, he runs a double move. Was that a Favre improvised play, or was that a game plan?
Right before this play, I think there was this 2-minute warning, but we tried to get the play off, and I called Q8, Q8, Q8. Well, hell, they know Q8. I gave it the signal and did all the stuff. Time, 2-minute warning. So we huddle up. We keep the play on. And I said, hopefully they saw it, Antonio. I said, so when I get up to the line up here, I'm going to signal to it again. Q8, Q8, I was going to be really, and I'm thinking to myself, they're not going to fall for this, really. So they know Q8, and it's never over the top. So I said, just run a little sluggo. But we didn't tell nobody.
Did you tell Holmgren?
After. When I went to sign, he said, what the hell was that? He was almost, he's a typical Mike, he was almost kind of mad, like, what the hell was that? Why didn't I know? But it was one of those things, we were drawing it up in the dirt, so to speak, I'm thinking, this is too good to be true. I mean, it should work, but it's not going to work, We
got a guest here that wants to come in and say hello to you.
Cabbage!
How you doing? Antonio Freeman. 56 touchdown passes you caught from this Brett Favre.
Just talking about that tape.
He told me how it happened. This from your recollection here. What happened on this thing?
You do what your quarterback tells you if you want the ball, right? My quarterback came up to me. He said, listen, Free, we're going to run Q8. We're going to make it look everything like Q8. I'm going to give you the signal. We're going to run the routes. But instead, when you get to the option part of the route, I want you to veer out, and I'm going to pop it up in the back of the end zone. That's where the ball will be, so you'll have to find it.
So you never practiced this play in your life?
Never.
That was the only time
So when you come out of this thing, do you even know which shoulder to look over? Did you talk about that?
No.
No.
I thought you guys practiced this thing for 100 years. And you're telling me this is some draw it in the dirt,
Yeah.
Hattiesburg, Mississippi special?
Yeah.
Emeny Christmas.
That was the beauty of playing with Brett, though. I mean, anything was possible.
Hey, Free, hop in the front line. I want a Green Bay Packer 1997 vintage X-slant.
Don't blow a knee out.
I won't. Trust me.
Oh, Free, it's so pretty. That's good for TV. That body catching, Free, but still body catching it.
But he catches it, you know? Green 18.
Oh, God, it's so beautiful.
Dude, he still got it.
I love it. I love it.
Throwing ain't the problem. I don't want to get hit.
Three, nice shots in rhythm. And then maybe toward the end, if you could put a little goose gossage steam on that. I'd like to feel that. I'd like to feel the wrath.
Hard work on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hard work. I'd learned at an early level that never go, okay, I've arrived. I never arrived. And so when going back to what I told you earlier, when I went on the practice field in year 12, did I have to prove myself? No. But in my mind, I did. I always went into training camp thinking they're trying to replace me. Now, that may sound crazy to a lot of people, but I said, I'm going to make throws today in my 12th year, my 15th year, my 20th year.
Man.
My first practice in Minnesota, we practiced indoors, and we called Fox 2X on my hook, and it's cover 3. And I hit Sidney Rice on a rope on the post. Why? Did I have to do that to make the team? No. But in my mind, I said, I'm going to kind of set the record straight right from the get-go. I don't give a damn if I'm in my 20th year or my first year. I can play. And I'm always proving myself. I didn't have to do that.
That's awesome, man.
But that was my mentality. I never went in saying, I'm just going to half it today. I never did that. Didn't always play great, but I never half it.
I love football more than anything. I've been accused of that my whole life. You'd be the one guy that likes football more than me. Am I right?
No, I can't say that I like it more than you, but I had fun playing it, man. I really had a lot of fun. And I think, first of all, I think people are good enough to recognize when something's real and something's not real. And I look at that and I think, what the hell were you thinking? And that was just it. Everything was just spontaneous. I mean, I love to play and love to compete, and I love to do it with my teammates. And I didn't care if I threw a touchdown or if Darrell Thompson ran one in, or Edgar Bennett ran one in, or Amon Green, or Adrian Peterson. It was fun. It was fun.
You made it fun for everybody. I mean, the trainers, Pepper Burris. I mean, there was laughter is something that I don't take lightly. It's a tough business. There's a lot of pressure, but having a laugh with everybody in the organization, I mean, that's what I remember you being really good at.
Yeah, you know, John, when I was playing, as I look back, there was a time I looked back and I thought, you know, I wonder if people thought I didn't take it seriously enough. And for a brief moment, that bothered me, for a brief moment, because you can get the wrong impression. No one wanted to win more than I, and no one took it harder in losing than I. So I never wanted people to say, you know, he's not in it 100%. You know, that right there, you know, to me is what, when I think of my career, that's what I think about right there. Not the arm strength. Yeah, it was great, you know, some of the plays I made, but it was celebrating and fighting in the trenches and loving your teammates is what it's all about.
Isn't that a big reason why you kept playing? I mean, you just kept coming back.
It's the only reason. You know, I'd love to sit here and say that it was because I wanted to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, who wouldn't? You know, I'd love to have won another one. But when asked if I missed the game, I don't miss the game. I miss, you know, jumping on the guys. I miss, you know, the things that you would not think of as something worth missing. That's what I miss. And that's something that you can never replace.
Look at you right here. I mean, you're getting your ass knocked off and you're smiling. I mean, we don't have a lot of people like this anymore. I mean, as a broadcaster, I miss watching you play.
You know, I think the biggest compliment that I've gotten and continue to get is I really like watching you play because you look like you had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I get a kick out of people really appreciating the fact that he just was real. I mean, that dude had a blast. Yeah, not everybody likes Brett Favre. I get that. That's fine. You can't disregard the passion and love for the game. You know, I used to think to myself on the way home from work, I'd say, can you believe they pay us for this? And that much? Wow. I'm not going to tell them, but I'd do it for $50. Yeah, I mean, that was my mentality. Mm-hmm. You know, so, and I think it showed.
Still to come on Gruden's QB Camp with Brett Favre.
How about when you had to go back to Lambeau, man?
I think I'm for a while. I wanted people to watch me play, and I thought I could do something that was worth watching.
This is unbelievable. He's more than a quarterback. Brett Favre is a football player.
Favre back to throw his first one. Going deep. Has a man open. Andre Rison does the dance in, and Favre got settled down in a hurry. Antonio Freeman, they're not going to catch him. Touchdown, Green Bay, as the Packers recapture the lead. Here's Favre. Touchdown.
The greatest moment of your life. You'll never forget it. They could never take it away.
Holmgren was the best head coach I've ever had, and he was at the right time. He was extremely tough. You know, I remember my grandmother, God rest her soul, she told me one time, she said, Holmgren looks like such a nice man. And I said, well, he can be. But what you didn't see, he was a chewer.
Yeah, he was good at it, man.
And there were times I'd make a throw, it was complete, you know, and he would say, you know, and I know Bill Walsh, because he told me this later, that Bill Walsh would chew his ass. He said, I want you to go tell Montana I want it 1 foot in front of the number. So, you know, Homer's telling me the story, and he's like, I'm like, you go tell Montana. You know, It was like right here. And we're not talking about all that much, but that's the way Mike was with me. And, you know, I'm thinking, what the hell? Mm-hmm. But then later on, I found myself as a player in the latter part of my career sort of coaching the guys that way. If we're going to be good, we got to do it right. We got to do it right. And, you know, I was thinking back to Holmgren. Honestly, about the time Mike left was about when I really started getting it. And that's what was disheartening about it. I regret the fact that we didn't have many more years together because I think we could have won some more championships.
The moment has arrived. The Minnesota Vikings and Brett Favre against the Green Bay Packers.
Leading up to the game, I was a basket case. This is an emotional time. And Brett Favre is very excited. I can hardly speak myself.
I did the cut-in for this game. We're in a pregame thing. I was so excited for this game, I couldn't even pronounce your name. I couldn't even talk. I mean, the electricity.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
And, you know, in my heart, you know, I kind of knew how you felt.
Yeah. Sitting in that hotel in Minnesota, and I was like, this is the longest day ever. It just built, and it just built, and to a point where I'm like, I can't handle it. And I said, yeah, I'm going to do everything. Not that I wouldn't do that anyway. I'm going to do everything I can to kick their everything I can. And that may not be much. I don't know. But I cannot explain to you how nervous I was before this game.
There's nothing textbook about this. Looking left, giving ground. That's amazing.
Not that I needed to prove myself, but I thought, aha moment. And I didn't rub it in with anybody. I tried to handle myself with as much class as I could, and restrain myself. But yeah, it was satisfaction for sure.
How about when you had to go back to Lambeau, man?
It was such a weird feeling. It started to hit me. I was like, I think I'm gonna throw up. And then when I walk out here, it was the loudest booing roar I'd ever heard. I kind of took a little pride in that.
Favre guns it over the middle. It's caught and into the end zone.
Coming up.
Brett Favre!
Yeah, I'm in the hall with you, but I'll always be below you. They're here, I'm here. That's just the way it is.
Brett looking, drills the middle. He's got Jennings. And there it is, a monumental milestone in a legendary career.
It goes without saying that how much of an honor and a privilege it is for me to even be mentioned in the same breath as a guy like Dan Marino, in my opinion, the greatest passer of all time. So, Dan.
That year, I broke the record. I won an ESPY, and I remember saying it to ESPYs, more than the record itself, that the person who had it is even more special. To pass Dan Marino, are you kidding me? I mean, for a little boy from South Mississippi who never threw the ball, and maybe the greatest pure passer in history, does that make me a better passer than him? Absolutely not. But it puts me in a status that that only he has. You know, that was really, really special.
We've talked about a lot of stuff today, bro. We ain't really talked about the Hall of Fame. What makes Brett Favre a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I think first and foremost, there is a large body of work, which is a good thing, because if you're bad, there's not a large body of work. You're out pretty quickly. So the fact that I've played a long time means that I've played fairly well. But the fact that I was involved with so many wins, and the durability, and I think the passion, I think whether you're a fan or not, I don't think you can question, you gotta love to play the game. And if, you know, that's not why we put someone in the Hall of Fame, but it sure helps.
What's that going to be like when you see a lot of the other Packer Hall of Famers? I mean, it's such a great tradition.
I'm well aware of what a guy like Jim Taylor and Paul Hornung and Bart Starr and Willie Davis, and I mean, I can go on what these guys have accomplished. But I find it hard, and not only Packers, but my all-time favorite player was Roger Staubach. I'm still in awe of what he's done. You know, and you would think that would kind of, now you're one of them. I don't look at myself as like that. I always, they're here, I'm here. That's just the way it is. I mean, I can't be Roger Staubach, man, the greatest improviser of all time, my hero. How can you say that I'm an equal to him? And the same goes for these Packer greats. I'm honored beyond belief. And still pinch myself and like, you know, again, are you kidding me? But There's no way I could ever say I'm the same level as Roger Staubach or Bart Starr. You know, and even after this will be over, I know it says that.
Yeah.
I think what that says is the respect I have for those guys. Yeah, I'm in the hall with you, but I'll always be below you. Is a good thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, at quarterback from Southern Mississippi, number 4, Brett Favre.
Your message to the Packer Nation, Lambeau Field. What do you say to all your fans, man?
I always tell people, I hope I was as fun to watch as it was to play for you, because there was a mutual respect, and we were in it together. And I wanted everyone to know that. And I remember telling Aaron Brooks a long time ago when he came as a quarterback with us, he said, Jimmy, what's really important? You know, we were watching film together or something. I said, know everybody's name in this building. And, you know, he's thinking I was going to give him some, you know, read coverage. You want people to like you. You want to be genuine. It'll come back to haunt you, or it'll be a huge asset. And that Green Bay there's no better place for that. Mm-hmm. Those people were born and raised. They take pride in that place, and it was an honor to play for them.